Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling one of the absolute most vital pieces of equipment for your reef aquarium, the protein skimmer. Look, if you want to make a smart, perfectly tailored purchase, one that elevates your tank's health without giving you endless daily headaches, well, you're exactly in the right place.
Here's our quick roadmap. We'll cover the foundation, redefine how to look at sizing, decode the specs and fit, walk through the daily realities of running the gear, and finally, tuning it for success. Let's just dive right in.
Section 1. The foundation. So, before you even think about adding a unit to your cart, we need to establish exactly what a skimmer is actually doing to protect your reef.
Have you ever heard of dissolved organic compounds, or DOCs? They are pretty much the ultimate villain when it comes to water quality in a closed ecosystem. Your skimmer's primary job is to physically pull these organics out of the water column before they have a chance to decompose. Doing this stabilizes your water parameters and honestly takes a massive load off your biological filtration. It basically lets your whole tank breathe a little easier.
Moving on to Section 2, redefining size. We really need to pivot away from that shiny box marketing and focus on your tank's actual reality.
Here's our core rule for today. Ignore those optimistic gallon ratings. Skimmer packaging often lists these really broad tank size ranges, but those numbers, yeah, they're heavily generalized. Instead, you need to look at your actual bioload. Think about your fish count, your feeding frequency, and your coral density. Whether you run extra nutrients intentionally to get faster coral growth, or you're aiming for a super low nutrient system, it's your actual bioload that dictates your exact skimmer needs.
You know, it's a super common trap in this hobby to think, hey, bigger is always better, right? Actually, scratch that. If your system is lightly stocked, an oversized unit is going to strip nutrients way too aggressively. Driving nutrients down to absolute zero ruins your stability and literally starves your corals. You want a precise match here, not just the biggest engine you can afford.
All right, Section 3, decoding specs and fit. Let's methodically look at the performance metrics that go way beyond those basic marketing claims.
So, air draw. It's typically measured in liters per minute, and it is a highly useful real-world indicator of exactly how much organic waste a skimmer can process. For experienced reefers, this number is just a much more reliable baseline for performance than whatever gallon rating the manufacturer slapped on the box.
But hey, air draw isn't everything. You also have reaction chamber volume, which dictates contact time, and more contact time means better skimmet quality. You also need consistent bubble size, a stable foam head, and rugged build quality. I mean, remember, this pump is running 24/7. Two skimmers with the exact same rated size can perform completely differently just based on these specific design details. Most systems rely on an in-sump skimmer because, well, they're easier to hide and usually a lot quieter. But when preparing for that installation, you absolutely must follow this physical checklist to ensure you measure twice and buy once. First up, measure the footprint to ensure it actually fits in your sump. Second, check the required water level the skimmer needs to operate correctly. And third, factor in the height. Do you have enough clearance under your stand to actually pull the collection cup out to clean it? You'd be surprised how many people forget that part. On to Section 4, daily realities. Because honestly, specs absolutely do not matter if the equipment makes your daily maintenance a total nightmare. A skimmer that is noisy, fussy, or constantly clogging is going to completely undermine your investment. You have to evaluate the noise level, especially if your tank is in the living room and you actually want to hear your TV over the pump. Also look at how easy it is to clean that nasty sludge out of the neck, and make sure the pump model is commonly supported just in case something breaks down the line. Now, be prepared to practice a little patience right after your purchase. New skimmers require a break-in period. You might turn it on and not see that perfect thick foam right away, but don't panic, that is totally normal, as the manufacturing oils break down and the internal plastics adjust to your specific water chemistry. Section 5. Tuning for success. We're transitioning now from buying the skimmer to actually operating it, which is all about patience and system stability.
The absolutely crucial point here is knowing how to diagnose your foam production. Underskimming usually shows up as dry, barely forming foam heads with minimal skimmet. On the flip side, overskimming produces thick, very dark skimmet way too rapidly, which drops your nutrients dangerously fast. The key? Don't react erratically to a single day's output. Instead, use these markers to really understand your system's baseline over time.
So, when you make adjustments, you want to make tiny tweaks and just watch your long-term nutrient trends.
Basically, let the tank tell you what it needs over a period of weeks, not hours. Specifically, keep a close eye on your nitrate and phosphate levels. The absolute best test of a skimmer's tune is how the whole system responds over time. If you want to avoid endless tuning headaches, you have got to keep the skimmer's environment perfectly uniform. They are incredibly sensitive to small changes. You need to maintain a stable water level, salinity, and temperature. The best way to do this is by placing the skimmer in a dedicated sump section and utilizing an automatic top-off, or ATO system. An ATO literally locks in that water level so your skimmer performs exactly as it was designed to.
And when you get all of this right, matching the bioload, picking the right specs, ensuring a proper fit, and tuning it with that stable water level, the payoff is incredibly rewarding. We're talking stable coral behavior, beautifully consistent water clarity, and wonderfully predictable nutrient levels. It's a real game changer.
Ultimately, prioritizing your actual bioload over those flashy box ratings is what gives your tank exactly what it needs to thrive. With the right selection, a skimmer becomes a quiet, steady foundation for a much healthier reef. So, I'll leave you with this. What does your current setup require to reach that next level of stability? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy reefing!